I'm Hana Barnes, and welcome to Into the Spotlight. This is a show where we highlight the latest entertainment news and keep you up to date on the activities of the Spotlight Collective and its members. And with me today is Nathan Tyrone. Hey, Nathan.
Hey, Hannah, and hey to you. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to bring to you Into the Spotlight a little differently than what we'll do traditionally because this is our inaugural episode. Traditionally, we'll give you highlights and information on entertainment, both nationally and locally, both large and independent. But today, for this time, we're going to let you know who's putting this show together, who's bringing you this entertainment, and a little bit about them. First, we're going to go with Hana Barnes, my lovely, lovely host today. And Hannah's been in entertainment, according to her, most of her life. She was in a Pampers commercial, which I still haven't seen evidence of, but I would pay to see. And she's been a spokesperson for several television shows, news anchors. Well, Hannah's here herself. Why don't we get it straight from Hannah?
So for about 2 years, I was on a show called New York Wave for the Japanese broadcasting company, which is NHK. And then after that, I was a New York correspondent for a show on the same network called El Mundo. Right now, I am the narrator for NHK World for a show called Asian Dreamers. The first two shows were in Japanese, but Asian Dreamers is in English, so please check that out.
Yeah. All right. And we're very lucky to have you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And some of our producers, let's give them a little time in the spotlight. We're being produced today by Joy Williams and Addie Brown. Addie Brown of Brown Girl Comedy is one of the first producers and really the person responsible for all of the hard work to bring us right here in front of the camera today for you. So without her hard work, this would not be happening. We would not be here, and you would not be so thoroughly entertained. You can find her at Brown Girl Comedy on Facebook, and you can find her on YouTube doing her thing at Caroline's and various other comedy stores and shows. And just met her today, though. Joy Williams, an incredible talent, will be helping us with the production of this particular show. We want to thank them, and you guys ultimately should thank them and support the arts. Support the arts when you can with Addie and Brown Girl Comedy. Find her on Facebook and on her YouTube channel. Joy Williams, you can follow her at Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest on Gospel Fit. At Gospel Fit, she organizes a health and wellness programs. Straighten out your life. Joy Williams can help you. Okay.
And what about you, Nathan?
What about me? So, I am the executive producer, one of the executive producers for Lost Land Productions. I'm a Meisner-trained actor. I'm a filmmaker and a writer. I've got several projects brewing for you guys with the Spotlight Collective, and we have podcasts, short films, and even a web series that's coming out, and it's all very exciting.
And where can people find that?
You can find us at the Spotlight Collective on Facebook, or you can watch us live if you really want some live action at the Spotlight Collective Television on your YouTube. So the YouTube, is that what the kids are calling it now? The YouTube?
I don't know if you put the in front of it, but sure.
Oh, okay.
The message will get across.
I'm sure it will. I hope it will. Find us, like us, figure out why.
So can you tell us a little bit about some of the projects that you're working on?
Absolutely. We're all so excited. We're so excited at the Spotlight Collective. We've been working on a 5-episode scripted web series for a little over a year now. This web series is called The Confessional. The Confessional is an action drama, almost horror-ish show that kind of highlights the Catholic act of confession, follows those who confess, and kind of, displays it for you in a thriller, dramatic way where you feel kind of voyeuristic watching their sins. We've been doing it for well over a year now, almost a year and a half, and we've got it about 65% shot, but that one won't be ready for another couple months. We have a couple short films. We have one short film that is in post-production. This film's called A Pregnant Silence, starring Luke Shibbo and Raven Patterson.
And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, it's a show that follows 2 heroin addicts, kind of down on their luck, 2 people who have met hard times in life, and we kind of voyeuristically, again, sit in and listen to them communicate about a pregnancy that they're both experiencing. It's, I like to call it a tragic love story of sorts. Some of the other projects we have are podcasts. Lost Land Production has just built the Spotlight Podcast Studio, and we have 3 podcasts currently in production. The first podcast is a mixed martial arts spotlight, so all of you fight fans, check us out. The show is called The Way In, and the second podcast is a show that kind of is the accompanying sister to this show. It kind of podcast about Into the Spotlight, about what the Spotlight Collective members are doing, and some of the shows that they're in, some of the shows that that they're part of, production, starring. We have all types of talent as members of the Spotlight Collective, and we like to try to highlight each of their contributions. We also have, I know there's so much, right? We also
have a lot on your plate, I see.
Really do. I really do. I'm lucky I don't have to eat it all because I'd be el gordo.
It's a lot of content for the viewers. That's great.
It is, and that's why we're so excited to be bringing you this content with all these independent artists working so hard. As I was saying, the short film coming up is a small film called Fixate. It's a film about a young lady who kind of pays a little bit too much attention to what society is telling her. She kind of listens too closely to all of the negative things said about her and tries to incorporate those things into who she is and how she behaves, much to her detriment. It's kind of a creepy little horror film, if you will.
Sounds pretty dark.
Yeah, it's pretty dark. It delves into the psyche of a person who is completely beautiful by all measures, but never quite feels that beauty, never sees herself as that because she internalizes all of the critical natures or all of the critical things that people say about her. This film has been casted, and we're all crewed up. It's almost done with pre-production, and we expect to shoot Fixate in about 4 weeks, I believe. We're going to start shooting. So
that should be interesting because that sounds almost like a topic that you hear about often where a lot of young girls or women kind of pay too much attention to the outside voices.
Especially now more than ever in the age of what I like to call me, the me age. People take more pictures of themselves today than they did 5 years ago, and they'll take more in 5 years from now than they did today. And people are so fixated on themselves, on physical attraction, on being seen and being seen, and what people perceive of them.
The likes on Instagram, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Fixate will be kind of a character study on a person living in this age of me, in this age of the selfie, if you will, who never quite takes the picture she likes.
So do you work with a lot of kind of this horror genre?
You know, I didn't realize I did initially. Initially, I thought I was an action thriller writer, but I've written so much and and it's so thrilling to see when you write something and you have talented players coming together and really bringing to life your work. It is flattering beyond words, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing this Into the Spotlight show, so that I have an opportunity to really share with you guys the immense talent that is being given to the Spotlight Collective. So the roundabout way to answer your question is I didn't realize I was a horror writer, but I believe I'm a horror writer. I filmed some things that have given me shivers in my back, made my hair stand up, and I've realized, wow, this isn't so much thriller as it is really, really horror.
That must be such an interesting process where you start off with one idea and then end up with a completely almost different product.
Yeah, I don't know so much that it's different. It just didn't take the life that I thought it would. Sometimes when you write something, you don't really know how an artist, an actor, the producers, the cameraman, even the cinematographer is going to interpret your writing. So filmmaking is a group effort in that way, that all of these artists get to equally contribute. And ultimately, as a writer, I realize that the interpretation of my films, or my writing rather often, is kind of dark by people. People read it and it takes them to kind of dark places. Not that that's not interesting. To me, it's riveting. I'm fascinated by it because I wrote it, but then I feel like I'm watching something completely new. I'm like, wow, this is, it's very interesting.
So I know you said it was a collective effort, but how are you meeting the members of these groups?
Well, much the
of
same
this
way.
group.
Yeah, the Spotlight Collective, hashtag. Much the same way we met, Hannah. Hannah and I met while in acting class in Midtown. We were in a stage combat class where she beat me up, and that's what's wrong with my face now. And I met a lot of the talent through that acting class, through networking with the people in that acting class. We also hold open casting, so if you get Mandy, Backstage, or any of that, and you hear that the Spotlight Collective or Lost Land Productions is casting in New York, come out. We want to see your talent too. And I guess it was just a matter of networking, castings, and having great opportunity to meet great people like you.
Well, thank you.
Oh.
So I know you mentioned A Pregnant Silence. When can we expect that to come out?
A Pregnant Silence was wrapped in terms of its post-production in January, in terms of all of the video post, and we're doing audio post on it now. We have a very talented composer in Jason Sameta who's creating original music for this show. A Pregnant Silence stars Luke Shibbo and Raven Patterson, both exceptionally talented thespians. It is almost done. The music is so sad, as if the title weren't sad enough, that I can't rush the guy. He's a genius at work. Jason, I said it, yeah. He's a genius at work, and he should have it shortly. I would expect that A Pregnant Silence would be ready for view before June.
Okay.
I can't make any promises, as I'm not a composer. I don't know the artistic talents and skills that it takes to be a composer. So we're going to let this genius work at his own pace with confidence that when he's finished, we will have an exceptional product.
Guess he has to be inspired, huh?
Yeah, well, I think he already is. He raved about it. A few people have already seen the film. The actors have it's already been screened for the actors. The composer has already seen it. He's got the first print. And so they really, really like it. It's a flattering thing. And so the idea that it can only be made better by him is one that titillates me. It's one that I'm excited for, and I hope that everyone is excited for. I hope that you're excited for it now, too.
Well, I'm excited to see it for sure. And speaking of A Pregnant Silence, we have one of the stars of A Pregnant Silence here today with us, don't we?
We do. An exceptionally talented man, Luke Shibbo. Luke Shibbo and I met, again, at the Acting Studio Incorporated in Midtown, and Luke has been a mainstay with the Spotlight Collective. Though not one of the founding members, he contributed his talent, rather, to many, many of our projects. He is the star of The Confessional. Luke Shibbo plays Father Lentz in our show, The Confessional. And he is also, the co-star with Raven Patterson of the upcoming, soon-to-be-released A Pregnant Silence. He's an active player, not only with the Spotlight, not only with the Spotlight Collective. Thank you, jeez, not only with the Spotlight Collective, but in his local and in off-Broadway and Broadway theater. So Luke just played Christ over Easter. I mean, he is always busy. He's one of those actors that when he's not busy, when he's not being creative, I don't think he's quite fulfilled. So we're very excited to have him in the studio with us today.
Great, and I got a chance to see him work too, and he is very, very talented.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
Extremely talented. You know, what's great about working at the level that we work at is that you have to have full commitment. We are an independent group. We don't have huge budgets. We are independently financed. We're not going out on, or at least we're not going out yet, on these GoFundMe sites. We're not trying to take your money and make what we want. We're trying to make what we want and then give it to you. And so Luke is one of those guys that just, he's incredible. He's incredible. And our projects need guys and girls and actors. We need people who are ready to work hard, talented, and understand that with the budgets that we're working on, we're not going to be able to pay exorbitant amounts of fees. We're not going to be able to rent the best of best cameras. So we have to be creative. And I find that when you're working within a tight budget, creativity is often your strength. Creativity becomes something that can raise the production value, raise the entertainment value, raise the viewer's interest levels in your projects.
And what's great about working with a format like that is that everyone who's there is pretty much there because they want to be.
Right, 100%. No one's there because it's a paycheck that they're going to walk home from. You know, everyone is there because
It's not like, oh, I have to go to work today.
I know. And believe it or not, many of them do. There are many times where we're shooting in the middle of the night because that's when people are off work at like 5, 4, 3 a.m. And they've got to go right back to work. And that's the kind of dedication that we have at the Spotlight Collective. Just an incredible group of people. Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on forever about how grateful I am to be surrounded by the talent that I am. And we encourage you to find us, look for us, figure out why we're so excited, and get excited yourself. The Spotlight Collective.
Can you tell us a little bit about your podcast?
Oh boy, we're so excited about that.
Excited for everything.
Yeah, I know. I am. Do you know, because I love doing this. I love producing.
And that is definitely coming across.
Is it? Thanks. Well, I love creating. I love making these things for you, and there's nothing like seeing someone enjoy the finished product. Our first podcast that's already under production, and there are a few episodes out already, is a mixed martial arts spotlight. It can be found on our YouTube channel, the Spotlight Collective Television, and it's I'm kind of like the co-host slash engineer because it's a small podcast that the Spotlight Collective built a podcast network, of a podcast broadcast station for lack of a better description, and we're doing our own podcast with that one-time investment. I'm doing it with Dorian Hernandez. All you fight fans might know him as Mr. MMA. He's kind of like an aficionado of the sport, and he kind of hosts that show whilst I'm kind of like the boob at the side, if you will, kind of like I am today, I guess. No, I don't know. Anyway, and we'll have a show about comic books for all you nerds. It's called Alter Ego, the superhero show, where we highlight all of the comic book stuff that's going on in entertainment. I mean, is this the height of comic book stuff in entertainment, or what?
You will probably know more about that topic than I do.
Hannah is secretly a superhero. Under all of this, she has her Wonder Woman
cape.
underwear. That's right. So, yeah, no, I'm a big nerd. Everybody knows that about me, so I have no shame in the game. So, the third podcast that we're going to do is kind of a supplement to this show. This show's Into the Spotlight, and the podcast will kind of be the things that we don't have the runtime or we can't book on this show will be highlighted in the podcast that is kind of going to be the sister accompaniment. All of these shows will be available on the Spotlight Collective Television. Okay.
And here in the studio with us today is one of the acting talents of the Spotlight Collective, Luke Shibbo. Hi, Luke.
Hey.
Welcome to Into the Spotlight.
Luke. Hi, Hannah. Hey, Nate. Thanks for having me today. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you.
So tell us a little bit about you and some of the projects that you're working on.
Well, with Nathan and the Spotlight Collective, there are two projects that are ongoing right now. One is The Confessional, which is the web series that we've been working on for, what has it been? A little over a year now?
It's been about a year and 4 months.
About a year and 4 months
Yeah.
now, so it's ongoing, very exciting. It seems like there's something new to figure out within the character of Father Lintz and within the production, seemingly every episode. So that alone has kept me very busy, I would say, in the last 12 months, or I guess you said 16 months. Man, the time flies. But and then the other thing that we've done is we shot the short film,
A Pregnant Silence.
A Pregnant Silence. A Pregnant Silence, which in the time that we've been working, was 6 months ago that we wrapped up?
It seems like 6, but it was only 4.
I was going to say, like 4 months is like, it's like nothing. It flies with us because we've been doing this for, a year and a half now. But
Right.
yeah, so both projects have really kept me busy over the course of the last couple of years. And then also I'm always trying to strengthen my instrument is one way to put it. And I try to stay as active as I possibly can when it comes to taking classes. And that's how me and Nathan met, actually, and Hannah as well. We all took classes at the acting studio on 54th and Broadway. And that's where we met. That's where we've built our instruments. That's where we've developed a passion for what we do. And that's where all of these projects, I think, pretty much have sprang out of. Am I right when I say that?
The Confessional, definitely. The Confessional was definitely born at the acting studio, but the other projects were kind of conceived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From your crazy mind, right?
To say the least, yeah, crazy is indeed. Yeah.
And I think when people see these two pieces, I think you'll really realize that as cleaned up and intelligent as Nathan sounds, he's a pretty, what's the word we should use? Creative?
It's better than
I said
creative.
dark before.
Yeah. Dark I like as much as I like creative. Dark is more honest, creative is more nice.
Yeah. Well, thanks
but
for being
both are very
honest
true.
and nice.
Both are very true. But yeah, I've been keeping busy with those two projects. Of course, always taking classes at the acting studio. I think the latest thing I've done is in front of the camera audition class, which I learned a lot about.
Is that with Victor Vignay?
With
Very
Victor. Nice. Yeah, exactly. And then always theater stuff as well. You know,
We heard you
theater is
were
my
in a play
passion.
recently.
Yeah, we know that you're talented. We've seen you in shows. We've seen you perform live. Why don't you give us some insight into some of the live stuff you've been doing?
Well, theater, in terms of, we've always, of course, stayed really busy at the acting studio with different theater pieces, and there's almost too many to even name. But specifically in the last month, I was involved in a production done by a church group, actually, located in Paramus, New Jersey, and we did the Passion of Christ play. And they had me play Jesus of Nazareth, which was a very sort of unique experience. It's probably the most interesting combination of roles you can have. Jesus of Nazareth and Father Lintz.
Oh boy!
You know, within the last 12 months.
The sinner and the healer.
Yeah, and what's funny about it is you're probably learning a lot of the same lines, but saying them with completely different conviction and completely different stuff going on in your mind when you're saying it. Totally different objectives. So it was definitely a very interesting combination.
What kind of stuff did you have to keep in mind for when you're playing kind of polar opposite ends of the spectrum?
It's a good question. When you're playing Jesus of Nazareth, it's pretty difficult because how do you play God? You know, you can't relate to that. Right. Father Lintz is very human, so as sick as he is, at least he's human.
Well,
and
can
so
you tell
that
us a little bit
makes
more about Father Lintz and
Sure.
his character?
Yeah, Father Lintz is a new priest in a parish. We don't specify what type of Christian church it is, correct?
Not really, but there is the Catholic act of confession. I don't know if there's any other.
But
religion.
we don't mention Catholicism.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We're not. We didn't want to make an indictment. We didn't want to say that, hey, this stuff is going on. It's a story of fiction, and we want to make sure that people had a disassociation.
Right. So Father Lintz is a character that he's a new priest at a parish, and the community is very excited about it. They've been galvanized by his hiring, you could say. But he has, it would be, we would be not giving him enough credit to just say that he had demons. It's more than demons. This is a very sick individual. He's involved with, do we want to say everything? I was going to say, I don't want to cut it. I want to cut it a little short. I'll leave that to Nate. I don't know. He's the king of this operation.
We're so meticulous about what we release and what we don't release. If those of you who follow us on the Spotlight Collective will know that we've given you some little titillating pictures, but we haven't given you much at all, just enough to wet your whistle.
The actors have not even gotten much of that. We just get the teaser photos, so it's all pretty purposeful. Knowing you,
right? It is very purposeful because, we're not going to go into too much about the details of the confessional. I think that the description he gave is a fair one and an apt one.
Okay.
So kind of like a corrupt priest is what I'm getting?
Yeah, definitely. Well, corrupt for sure, but I mean, it touches on
issues.
It touches on a lot of different topics. And again, I guess we should stop there, right? About what we want to let the audience know about. We got to save it for when they actually watch it. But
if you'd like, though, I mean, you can give us a little insight as to the production aspect of A Pregnant Silence. I know that that wasn't always the funnest shoot to do, and why don't you give us a little bit about your experience on that shoot?
You know what's interesting about A Pregnant Silence was it was shot all in one day, and there was how many hours of footage, Nate?
8.
8 hours of footage in one day, more or less completely naked in a really cold bedroom.
That's how I do my talent.
That's exactly what that day of work was. But seeing the rough cut so far, because that's what I've seen so far is the rough cut, I'm really excited about what that project is going to look like, what that final project is going to look like. Me and Raven Patterson are the only two players in the production, and to work with her is just, it's unbelievable. I mean, she just makes things easy. She gives you so much to work with. She's so emotionally full, and in that role that she plays as Jane, she gives me more than enough to work with. The characters are named Dick and Jane. I don't think that was a coincidence. That was another thing born out of Nathan's very creative mind and his love for old movies and old comic books and old like pop culture.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nathan and I share one thing in common, and I want to emphasize only one thing in common. And that's that we both watched way too much TV when we were younger.
I think so.
And so we kind of both can relate to that kind of stuff. When you look at some of the stuff that he's written, if you really look deep, every single word he's written, every sentence, every scene, where it is, the way it's shot, it's with purpose. And that's what's great about working with Nathan, is that when you're an actor and you're looking to particularize your script and every word in it, when you're getting a script from Nathan, you know that there is something to look for.
Thanks.
You know that it's not just a page with words on it because that's what makes sense to tell the story. No, it's specific. It is already particularized. It makes the work for the actor easier because of that. And that's what if I can say one thing about, and there's several things that I love about working with Nathan, but that's the one thing I would say. He makes it very easy for the actor the way he writes his scripts. And I think part of that is because Nathan might be as good of an actor as he is a producer or writer.
Wow.
He just chooses to be on the writing side and on the directing side, on the production side. But the fact that, to me, the way I view Nathan is an actor first, that helps him write. And it makes the work very easy for the actor. I think we just got a sign saying we got 30 seconds left.
We've got to wrap it up. Luke, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being our guest on this inaugural episode.
Yes, thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next time when we take you back into the spotlight.